Okay, so we've got that cinched up, and right now we're just going to pay attention to this joint here, and that's going to be, like I say, the other side of this is the top, or the surface, the horizontal surface, the floor. So we're going to take these tenons, okay, that are made for this, okay, and we're going to look at placing this tenon here. Will be our first one. Now, in placing this, the thing to use is CA glue. Okay, this is an activator. This here. So what I would recommend is just taking this and prepping the tenon by spraying this on the tenon side, and then using the CA glue and applying that on these sides. The two things you want to be aware of when doing that is you don't want to get squeeze out through this joint, so you kind of want to keep it from piling up near that seam, as well as you don't want to get any down here that's going to squish out and prevent your joint on the plank that's going to tie into this from being able to seat well. So you put, enough glue. You can get plenty over to the edges there, and then place that piece in. And it's a good idea to keep as much pressure as possible up here at the top. That's where your you want to concentrate on getting the rounded spot there on the corner to line up as best as possible. So putting a lot of pressure right there is kind of the main focus of where you want the pressure to be, and that'll push those flat. So now once you've got that in and that's set up, then you come to this one to do this side, and you can tip this up like this a little bit if it need be, but just pushing this joint together as best as possible. And then the best practice would be to turn it flat this way. And with this side, we don't need to use this jig piece, but using something that's a flat edge, lining up that bottom will work well. And then again, when placing this tenon, the most important part of this is going to be to get the pressure right there up by where the turn is, and that'll give you a nice flat flush seam on the surface. So say if you put pressure there for maybe 15-20 seconds after dropping the tenon in on top of the glue, then that one will be ready to go. Now, because you have this angle to it, it gives it a little bit of strength as you're moving it around or lifting it, but you want to be careful to handle it with care, because you don't want to bind that or pressure these joints, because we didn't get glue here. It is susceptible to breakage being hinged inward. Now that's not an issue at all right once it's in place, because you've got the support underneath it of the floor and the riser that'll structurally support it. So you just want to be aware of that, to be careful in getting it in position, and especially if you're making cuts, that kind of thing. You want to make sure to support everything. And one thing I recommend is doing a dry fit of this whole thing before you glue these tenons in and get it all fitted onto the step. Make your cuts on the ends where you want them, and then join all this together.